And the emphasis there was that it is not just brick and mortar that is important. We can do brick and mortar, build the roads, have the best infrastructure. But if we have no focus on MSMEs to create economic activity, to create jobs for people, then the street demonstrations will continue on the best roads that we will have built. So this is a critical sector, and I'm happy that all of you who are here, you are key players in that particular sector. I had the opportunity the other day to attend a global ministerial conference with my peers here in South Africa. This was the first global MSME conference, ministerial level, and about 40 ministers attended from all over the world. And it was intentionally brought to South Africa because South Africa, they are going to take over the leadership of G20. The president of South Africa is going to become the president of the G20, I think sometimes this year. So within the G20, they have also made a decision that this is a very important sector that they need to focus on to improve the lives of citizens in the entire world. So we will be seeing soon more activities in this particular sector. There are so many challenges within this particular sector, and I don't want to go through them because you have been actors, you have been stakeholders, so you know all these challenges that we have been, these sectors have been facing. And I'm happy that even a representative of KRA is here, because one of the thorn issues, the complaints we have had, is harassment from KRA. And I think by you attending this particular session is very important, because what is important is for us to create a conducive environment for these MSMEs to be able to carry out their economic activities. While at the ministerial conference that we had, countries will focus on various challenges because of the level of their development. But I think in Kenya here, we cannot do everything at a time. We must prioritize and see which areas do we focus on. And I think within the ministry and my peers here, we have identified 4 areas that we need to focus on to see that this sector moves on. And one of the areas is access to finance. Moreover, access to finance for MSMEs is a responsibility of the government, because this particular sector has not been attractive to commercial banks because of the interest rates. You subject this sector to commercial banks, then you will be saying this sector will collapse. So it is our responsibility to make sure that there is enough intervention by the government so that there's more allocation of resources through the various agencies to this particular sector. And also to make sure that there is mitigation by the same government, to ensure that the interest rates are reasonable to to this particular sector. And I'm happy that now the government is coming up with a guarantee, a credit guarantee fund that will be able to de-risk the financing of this particular sector. So that is one area that, as a government, we want to focus on. The second one is access to the market. And access to the market is one of what we are going to do to make sure that this market of the East African community of 300 million people, we are able to access, despite, of course, some of the barriers being created by some of our partner states. But we are hopeful that the government is engaging so that some of those barriers are removed. The other area that we are going to focus on is digital transformation. We are already moving. We are in the digital era. Every Kenyan, nearly every Kenyan has a mobile phone. And that's where the world is going. It is very good that Kenya has one of the best mobile phone penetration, not only in Africa, but in the entire world. So we must make sure that adoption of digital accessibility by this MSME is very, very critical. And because of climate change, because these small businesses are affected by climate change, so they must be resilient to climate change, and we must be aware of this as leaders, that we have mitigation against climate change. So green financing will be also critical to make sure that there is access to green financing. As a ministry, we are going to carry out a survey. This year, the last survey was done in 2016. We need to carry out a survey to know where this SMEs concentration, where they are, and where we know where they are, then that's a spot that I've mentioned through these thematic areas will be possible. So I expect all of you to be players in this particular exercise so that we have access, we have current figures when we go out there, when we are mentioning how far the impact, because the last survey was done in 2016. We have also come up with MSME Connect, an initiative by the government to make sure that we put together key stakeholders in the industry so that we are also able to share some of the challenges, some of the successes, some of the networking, so that each key player knows what is where, so that we are able to avoid even duplication. And PS, the next meeting of MSME Connect, I think you need to invite KRA, so because they are very important players, and of course the academia. I'm happy the academia is here. We have a role, a very important role to play. And on academia, before I forget, when I was out there in Germany, I found out that Germany started this issue of MSME long time ago, because all businesses in Germany are family-based, nearly 98% of them. So they are nurtured, and they become big corporations. And there is a very good system. I would like also invitation for those who are coordinating this particular function, that you also invite people from India and Brazil, because they have good policies, good legislation to help this MSME. In India, as soon as an MSME gets a tender, finance is there. As soon as the tender is executed, payment is done promptly. In Kenya here, you know the culprits. You supply, 3 years, you are still chasing, then they want 50% cut for you to be paid. And some of them have collapsed because of this. They collapse, then the people become disputes, people become unemployed because of our own problems. For those who are organizing this particular event, make sure that all departments are involved on the table. Don't talk about that we have written a letter so and so, but those that are critical for the success of this function, they are on the table. And I'm seeing other ministries that should be involved: Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Treasury, Ministry of Trade. East African Community is going to play a very important role. Then other agencies, relevant agencies, must be on the table for the success of this particular event. As mentioned by the PS, we want to do it different. We want the 2 days, first 2 days, we focus on panelists talking about the problems in this in this sector, the experiences, because we hope these panelists will be coming from different backgrounds, from different countries, so that we are able to share. At the end of 2 days, we have an outcome that we need to follow up, so that if we go to the next year event, wherever it will be, then we are following what we agreed upon in the Nairobi meeting.
I know, because there are other MSME outside there waiting for you in Narok and then also in Bomet. Allow me just to take very few minutes just to say a few things as I welcome you to flag us off officially in this process that we all looking forward, like they've said, to set standards again, to elevate the standard of this event. So Waziri, this will be the 7th time, if I'm not wrong, that Kenya once again will be playing host to this very important event, the 25th East Africa Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Trade Fair. And so, if we were a human being, how old shall we be? 25. And which category will be Gen Z? So this is clearly a Gen Z fair, a Gen Z trade fair. And because it's a Gen Z trade fair, we have to do it differently, taking into consideration the feeling, the opportunities, the challenges, and the expectation of the most vibrant segment of our population today, not just in Kenya, but also in the larger continent of Africa. So the expectations are high. So when we say we are going to set standards, That's where we are coming from. We are not just doing it the way it's been done, but you're doing it to meet the context and the space of our young people who we think that they can take advantage of this sector, create their own jobs, and also help governments in the region to create jobs for the rest of the young generation. So that's why, Waziri, before you came in, we were also privileged to have the presence of the PS, the new PS, for the new State Department of Science, Technology, Innovation and Research, Professor Shaukut, who was here, and that is just a demonstration on where we want to take this trade fair. That those innovations that we've been seeing around, for me, I've seen them, this will be the 4th time that I'll be interacting with this market. I've seen great innovation. But like we've said, it must be innovation that can be taken to the market, commercialization of those innovations. So that's the space within which we want to re-engineer this event. We're also privileged to have here the PS in charge of trade, who support us in trade facilitation, not just within Kenya, but also across the globe. And that just to show how we are determined now to expand our market access, and also to see how we can support our local MSMEs to get or to be transitioned into global supply chains. When we talk about AfCFTA, Africa Continental Free Trade Area Opportunities, and as we know, it was last year when they finalized the protocol on women and youth in trade. So countries across the continent are requested to start domesticating that protocol. And this is one of those spaces that we have an opportunity to start showcasing that we can promote youth and women in trade, and also so that they can embrace those opportunities. Again, Waziri, you know, we are having conversation on how do we now take advantage of the various economic partnership that we have. For example, we have already signed a partnership with the European Union. So the Kenyan traders, especially MSMEs in the export trade, now have got a door open to access markets in the European countries. But then how do we sensitize them? How do we build their capacity? So those will be some of the conversation that you expect to have in this trade fair. So lastly, I just want to assure our MSMEs. I know there have been concerns, tutauza hapa Nairobi, sijui nini. Tunasema, you know, at times when you go to a doctor, and we as a ministry, we are now your doctors. And you say when mgonjwa, first of all, wanakusikiza, you say kichwa inauma, maji inauma, then wanakupima, alafu wanaona, wanadiagnose, wanaona unagonjeka nini, then wanakuandikia tiba. Si ndio hivyo? So you've come to us, we've been observing, and we know for sure that after explaining to us the challenges that you're facing, we know for us to unlock these great opportunities that is around you in your space, there are certain things that we must now start doing differently. So I want to assure you that this is not just going to be a trade fair that you're used to, but we are going to create a market. This is going to be a market where you find so many actors in there. Hiyo symposium ambao tumekuwa tukifanya is going to be symposium that can be actionable, where we are going to have actors, private sector, the large enterprises, interacting with the small enterprises, creating necessary linkages. You know, we are going to have academia coming to look at your innovation, advising you on how we can make those innovations better and how we can commercialize them. We're going to have investors coming on board and see how do they support you especially in commercializing, in expanding, in doing value add. So this is not just going to be a usual trade fair, ile soko ya kuanika hapa mtu anakuja ananunua, but it's going to be something that will enable you create, establish, very dependable trade linkages and relationship that will go beyond 10th of November. And when we meet again in the next country, I don't know which one will it be, then you will be able to see that you have moved from where you were the previous year. And that's our expectation. We are privileged that His Excellency the President is also the patron. And this is good that it's happening before the Heads of Summit. I think Waziri will be talking about. And it has always been my prayer that when do we even have this event? Because it serves no purpose when we have the event after the Head of Summit meeting, so that then we stay for another 1 year for us to present the outcome of this. Because we need immediate attention, we need immediate resolution of some of the issues which are happening. It is good to be having this event just before, and I'm talking here because I'm not a representative of EAC, State Department is here, before the heads of state summit, so that then the outcome of this trade fair becomes an agenda during that summit, so that our issues can be quickly acted upon. With those many remarks, today was just to unveil the working group, the National Organizing Team. Then we are going to have a number of committees emerging, and we'll be advising accordingly. And from tomorrow, henceforth, we want these committees, if you get a chance to serve in those committees, be dedicated, be devoted, so that as we promise the EAC community, we want to stage a marketplace than never before, one of the global standards. Thank you very much, and now support me in welcoming Waziri to come and officially flag us off. Waziri Oparanya, karibu. Makofi.
Wananchi wa Kenya, mjambo. Tuketi. I was told to be here at 9:45, so I was just on time. Unfortunately, I have other engagements. Immediately I leave here, as mentioned by the PS. But I want, on the onset, appreciate all of you for coming today for this very important function. I don't want to go into protocols because I don't know who is here and who is not there. So I'll just start with ladies and gentlemen. This East African Trade Fair has been there for the last 26 years. 26 years is not a short period, it's a very long period. I don't know what success we have had because of the trade fair for the last 26 years. But it's important if we have documentation to show the successes that we have made from 1999 to last year. I happen to have attended the trade fair that was in South Sudan. I had just come in the office that time. I was just two months old in the office. So I was able to go and attend that trade fair. And there were quite a number of challenges. And some of those challenges were expected in view of what that particular country has gone through. I'm hoping that those that I work with there, you will avoid some of those challenges that I saw. And I think a decision has already been made that the trade fair will be held here in Nairobi. Of course, there were petitions that we go to Eldoret, some we go to Kisumu, but I think already a decision has been made that let's have the trade fair here, and these other venues will be considered later. You are aware that the country has taken MSMEs as one of the pillars. Among the 5 pillars, MSME is one of the pillars. It has been taken as one of the pillars that can transform economically our country. The other day, I presented a paper to the cabinet on MSMEs.